Hey, this is Nick Aldis, your favorite GM, former world champion, and friend of K100 despite being on probation. A few years ago, I started Legacy Sports Nutrition to sell high-quality supplements made in the USA to people like me and hopefully people like you. Since we launched, code K100 is the most used promo code at LegacySups.com, which is a testament to the listeners of this show as intelligent people who care about their health and performance with bestsellers like Test X9 Testosterone Booster and our Recovery PM Sleep Aid. I use these products myself, and so does my wife, Hall of Famer Mickie James, as well as a bunch of your favorite wrestlers. Try our stuff now at LegacySups.com. That's LegacySupps.com, and use code K100 for 10% off and to support this podcast.
Yo, Joe, can you hear me?
Yes,
Where'd you get your mic from?
Amazon. I just did a quick what can be shipped overnight and whatever. So, but
You gotta do like Meltzer now. You gotta hold your
I gotta
mic
hold
on
it,
your
yeah.
phone like you're like Meltzer.
I could
What
get
does
one of
he do?
those.
Oh, hold it like that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's tremendous.
I could get one of those arm things and clamp it here and then just have it hanging. You know. Yeah.
Probably would have make you look much cooler, but hey, so we've got, again, friend of the show, good friend personally of us, our boy, the one and only, the only one. Can I call you Karrion Kross, or what is it?
Killer.
A killer?
Let's go back because he's
let's go back
killer
to
on this
Mexico
program.
days where he was undefeated. Killer Kross.
That's it.
The Devil of Monterey.
That's
Yes.
right. That's right.
And some other cities.
Yeah.
How you doing, man? What's going on?
I'm doing really good. I don't know if you guys caught the news. I didn't talk to the three of you about it when it was going on, but
Right.
this year I had three relatives that were all in cancer treatments. Two of them passed away on two separate parts of the continents on the same day in hospice. And then my mother, she was also doing chemo and radiation. And I was like, how am I going to tell her that the two relatives passed away? And finally, I talked to my relatives. Finally, we told her, and she was like, thank you for telling me. She said it so stoically. A couple minutes later, she comes back. She goes, I already know what you guys are thinking. I promise you I'm going to pull through. She said it like a fucking stone cold, like a killer, dude. And now she's finished her treatments. She's cancer free. I couldn't be any happier, bro. This is better than motherfucking mine.
Ring the bell
quick
and post,
sidebar.
Joe.
Ding ding.
No.
No, I got it. I'll give you a real.
Yeah.
How many, like, this is something that's not really being talked about, but dude, has cancer been cured? There's so many stories of people they are getting cured of cancer, like way more than, like, cancer used to be the death sentence.
Yeah.
Now that I've been hearing millions of stories of people beating cancer.
Dude,
You know?
another guy, you guys have probably seen him online, at least. His name is Richard Holiday. He doesn't like to talk about it, but it was a public story. Richard had cancer, and Richard beat it too. He got on, he did chemo.
Wait, Richard Holiday from MLW?
I swear to God, yes.
Oh, yeah. I know him.
Bro, they told him, like, you got a very low chance, like, you're probably toast. Richard did chemo, radiation, and he got on a whole foods diet. Everything he ate was out of the ground. It was all clean food, and he beat it. Now he's wrestling. He looks like a linebacker. You'd never even know he was sick.
Yeah, I saw the video. I saw your. Let's talk about this real quick too, because
You know what, Joe? I'm sorry. Get a hold of Richard. I'd like to hear this story.
You got it.
Yes.
Thank you. Go ahead.
So speaking of Richard, I watched the documentary. Okay, you know what? I'm going to be brutally honest with you on this one, right? I liked it, but it's for me. It's like, dude, that documentary is like, if nobody's ever met you, watch that documentary. Okay. Yeah. The only problem with me I had with it was it's like, I know you. So it's like, like this, like you're kind of like, sort of like, it's like, okay, yeah, I know this Kross is like, he's like, it was kind of like, what it was almost like? It was almost like watching the McMahon documentary.
Right.
I watched one episode. I'm like, none of this is news to me. I didn't even watch the rest of it. I was like, so it's like, watching it was like, it was very well done. And it's excellent for people that have never met you,
Thank you.
Yeah. So I just want to put that over.
No, I appreciate it. That was sort of my intention. I've always, bro, not to blow smoke, but like, you told me this, Konnan told me this, back in the day, Mike Modest told me this, Regal told me this when I was an extra trying to get a job at WWE. They said the best advice we could ever give you, and you said this, you said, every time we go out there, imagine that this is the first time anybody's seen you. So, don't expect everybody to know everything about you. With the time that you're given to perform, whatever it is that you're doing, try to show people some sort of extension of what you're about and who you are, because there's a lot of people they're going to see on a show. And I've taken that same approach philosophically, and I've kind of done that with the documentaries. I wanted to make it so that someone who's not, forget about a casual viewer, somebody who's not even a viewer can turn this on and maybe be fascinated by this.
That's what I said about your book, because to me, it resembled McFoley's first book, where if you weren't a fan, you could still pick it up and read it, and you really got to know him. His character really shone through, what kind of person he was and all that. And that's how your book was to me. It reminded me of Have a Nice Day.
Thanks, man. That was the first wrestling book I ever read, and I told Nick that as well. Very first one I read as well.
Yeah.
And I like with this being the third documentary that I did, I wanted it to be an advertisement for anybody and everybody who was attached to it. Like, I got with my editor and I was like, these are the points where I want to have social media handles on everything. If people watching this, they're going to know the names of the company. They're going to know their social handles so they can follow them. And we're going to highlight each talent that's going to be involved in this. This isn't just going to be about me. I want to show, I want to put something good out there. Like, it's a return for everybody involved. So people can know in Seattle, in New Jersey, New York, the New England area, they can learn about House of Glory. They can learn about Defy. They can learn about WrestlePro, and they can learn about these guys that are unsigned that are all really good.
Well, this is all very recent stuff, correct?
Yeah, the last 2 months, basically.
Yeah. So it's all fresh. I was like, well, this is.
I was watching it. I was watching it live because you sent me a link. Remember?
Yeah, I really appreciate that, man. I saw the comments. Thank you.
Oh, you did? Yeah, because I was like, is this motherfucker ever going to answer? Am I doing this right? Because I'm a little bit, disabled technologically,
Yeah.
Yeah. But I thought it was great. Bro, I'm a big fan. I love your shit. Disco loves your shit. Joe, we all love your shit. I think you're more fascinating personally than you are professionally. So when I see shit like that and I see you come out of pocket, and not in the way we're used to using that term, but more like you're very diplomatic when you shouldn't have to be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and I've always admired that about you. I was like, man, this guy always keeps it classy. Not that you didn't keep it classy. You just were more outspoken than usual. You know what I'm saying?
I follow. Yeah. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah. And let me ask you a question. I've been reading this a lot, but I haven't seen them enough because I think they've only came out once. But I keep reading, and even today I read it before I came on here, that a lot of people think that, what's this guy's name? Black and Vega? That's almost kind of like a copy of like what you were doing. And
Aleister Black and Selena Vega. Yeah, sorry.
Right. And then even today, right before I came on here, they go, yeah, it's obvious Selena is cosplaying Scarlet. Do you see any similarities?
I see the comments online. But whenever every clip there are, so people are saying this, it's like the Temu Kross and Scarlet. It's like, I mean, that's not bad. But I'm just saying, it's the visual's obvious. So go ahead. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, look, it's like you said, I try to keep it classy. I try not to jump into the divisive subjects. Like, to me, this is all I could say. I can't tell people how to feel about what they're seeing and what they want to say. And actually, if you're not tone deaf and you're paying attention to everybody in the world, people are fucking tired of being told how to feel about what they see and hear. So I don't want to be that guy to tell people how they should feel and see about what they're watching. I'm sick of it. I stopped watching a lot of opinion piece shows because I have a fucking brain. I can think and see. I don't need to be told what to think and see about stuff. So I won't do that because I'm going to be a hypocrite. But this is what I will say. Scarlett and I are very flattered that we're still a subject of conversation among people online and fans in wrestling, because let's face it, we're not in the biggest show on the planet. So when this stuff comes up, we're flattered, bro. Like, we're flattered to still be in the conversations. And you never really know if that's the performers doing that or that is something they're being asked to do. So I can't throw shade. You know what I mean?
No, I'm not asking you to throw shade.
I don't.
That's, our type of show. That isn't,
of course.
We don't try to bait. So I'm assuming that being on the indies has been an incredible rush because that energy and the freedom to do what you want, work where you want, with who you want, right?
Oh, yeah.
What has been the biggest surprise since being on the indies, going to WWE and coming back? Or has it stayed the same?
Two things.
Yeah.
So number one, how many people who watch WWE are showing up at the indie shows and the conventions where we're at and they never even knew, bro, about anything else outside of WWE. All they have is their channel on TV. They don't know about the indies. They don't know about fan conventions, expos. They had no idea that there's shows right down the road that they could take their whole family to, and they can sit them in the front row and afford it. So when we're at the tables meeting people, doing the meet and greets, people coming up saying, we've never been to an indie show. We saw on your social media that we're coming. You know, we order Triller, which is an app they didn't even know about, where you can watch all the independent wrestling. So the amount of people that come up to us and say that every weekend is unbelievable. We're always floored. Like, we're very flattered, because to us, like, you can't be a mark for yourself. You know, like, if you're just a person on TV that people are expecting to never meet, if you disappear off TV, they don't care. They're working 40 to 60 hours a week. But these people are actually taking time to look up where we're at. They're driving across state lines to see us. That's the biggest surprise.
Bro, you know what really, and I'm just from hearing this, because we've never spoken about this, I'm sure it bothers you. That's why I hate when wrestlers act like they don't have time for the fans.
Right.
Hey, motherfucker, when you first started, you were wishing somebody recognized you or even asked you for a fucking autograph.
Yeah.
Now you're going to act like this?
Yeah.
Bro, like, sometimes I'll be with people, but they don't know any better. And they're like security, and like, they'll want my autograph and they'll push them off. And I go, bro, don't do that. They admire me. They're coming to fucking keep a souvenir or a memory, you know? Yeah.
What's your rule with fan engagement? Because I'm always
before you answer that, what's the second thing? So you said the first thing,
The second thing is the amount of work that's available. Because I'll shoot straight with you guys. I made an agreement with myself and with Scarlett. I said, look, you know, we're going to be taking a massive pay cut, no longer being with this company, going out of the indies. And she said, yeah. And we said, we can live with that. We live way beneath our means. We don't live like assholes.
Right.
But we're actually, like, we're getting by very well. And I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to.
Right.
Good.
Well,
we're doing very good.
Because this is what I was going to ask you. Okay. Well, let's say whatever your number was before you even went to WWE, before you went to NXT, okay, before Impact, okay, whatever your number was that you were getting on the internet on indies, how much multiplied is it now?
Maybe 3 or 4 times.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. It's good free, because Matt Cardona always talks about, like, dude, I'm not really taking a pay cut here. It's like,
no, he's not.
And the thing is, you can't really put a numeric value on the fact that you book your stuff.
Yeah.
Like think about that. Like, you're contracted out to go to all these places and make great money. So it's like, okay, well, here's where I want to go. Okay, I know I'm going to take less, but I have the choice of where I want to go. But it's not that much less.
It's not that much less. And whatever your booking is for indie wrestlers that are listening, or, you know, maybe in a similar situation to where I was in, you know, doing the meet and greets and bringing your stuff, people have photos of you that you're not even thinking about, that they've always wanted to get signed. They bring stuff to me from NXT. They bring stuff to me when Bobby and I worked at Mania with the Prophets and L-Ring and Authors of Pain. Like, they bring you things that you would never think of that are really important to them to get signed. And just the support that you get from the fans. I mean, I knew it was there, but you never know what it's going to be like when you leave. You just might disappear off the face of the earth, these people. I'm just blown away at how many people show up. And I've had long conversations with Cardona about this. Like, him and I break each other's balls a lot, but we're both from the same part of New York. That's just how we're wired. I mean, we get along great. But him and I talk about the business aspect of this outside of WWE and AEW, and just generally being signed, what goes into advertising, what goes into marketing, independent toy deals, independent merchandise deals, independent video games that are in development now that you can get involved with. You know, it's a lot of work, but we're from the working class, bro. Like, we're always used to working 40 to 60 hours a week. This doesn't bother us.
Dude, we had
thought about podcasting yet?
Yeah, I've thought about it. I'm almost never home, though. That's the problem.
Let me ask you this.
That's Joe's pitch to you to be on his thing.
This was actually a question that was brought up in our mailbag yesterday that we went over, and I want to ask you. So there's like this market for people that pay like exorbitant amounts of money to like hang out with people and stuff, like, you know, like weird things. And we brought up that's, you know, like that there's usually very rich people that can afford. Hey, I want to meet. I'll pay them whatever, just hang out with them. And because we were talking about, like, the Insane Clown Posse used to book their shows like that. They were fans of people, just tequila. They'd pay a fortune just to come, like, you know, like just appear to not even do anything, you know, just show up at the show and go around on stage. Have you gotten any?
Conrad also?
Yeah,
Conrad used to do that, right?
Our boy from What's our boy's name from American
Lambert.
Lambert, Dan
Dan
Lambert.
Lambert,
You know Dan Lambert,
right.
the MMA
Oh,
guy?
yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
my question: have you gotten any like outside the box offers for appearances since you've been done?
Aside from
yeah.
my offer to come hang out and watch American Psycho. Besides
Commentary. Yes, I have. And the most public one has been actually with Joe DeFalco on FSW. We're doing like a night with the killer where people can show up and it's just like a giant Q&A where I can hang out with everybody and they can ask me whatever I want. And it's just sort of everybody for, something in-house. But that actually has been coming up quite frequently, actually.
Yeah, interesting.
That's super
What do you miss?
cool.
What do you miss?
About being on the road with WWE?
Yeah, being with the Fed.
Just cracking jokes with the boys. Like once you guys will get this. I don't know if it'll click with people, but I'll just say it anyways. You can be on the road with somebody. You can go up and down on the tour bus with the European tours. You can go out to the nightclubs and the bars and you can share a meal or drink and whatever. But it's not actually until you work with one another that you really warm up to each other, because that's where you can figure out who somebody actually is. You know what I mean? When you're in the ring with them and you're making money and you're protecting each other and you're taking the audience on a ride.
Or you're laying out the match with them and seeing how much they want to take from you and how much they want to give. Right? Exactly, right? Yeah.
So once I got to work through the roster with everybody and we had done tours and stuff like that, I worked with a lot more people than the general public knows, because before the house shows were gone and the UK tours, I worked with a lot of people. I miss being able to see the guys week to week, but to be honest, I talk to most of them still. We're still sending memes and stuff back and forth.
How many group texts you in?
Maybe 3 or 4.
Right. Who was your crew? I think I've asked you this before. Who was your crew? Because look for when we back in WCW, it was like me and Konnan and Ray would be like, Jericho, Kidman, Raven, and Perry. We'd be like little and Holland, Holland Nash. You had your clique. Were you like a multi-clique person that you had like your little things, or were you just like one?
I was a little bit of a multi-clique person because like everybody has their own little groups, and like especially on the UK tours, when you go over, people would be up to doing different things. Some people would just want to stay in the hotel. Some people would just want to stay where they set the catering up in the hotel in the UK tours. Some people would want to go out in the town. I was somebody who liked to go out in the town. And on the road, I still have, and so does Scarlett, all of our nightclub hookups. So anytime I'd ever want to take anybody out, nobody's got to wait in line. Nobody's got to pay for anything. I know everybody. Some of the guys running the clubs now I used to hire. So I'd be able to, to take people out. It was a good time and nobody ever got in trouble. We all made our flights. I was kind of like, overseeing the shit.
Right.
People are always asking Disco, hey, when I go to Vegas, where can I go to? And I can never remember the name, and I'm going to say it's the Cosmopolitan. What was the club that Scarlett worked at? You got me in there one time.
Cosmopolitan, that's right. Yeah.
That's still there?
She worked at Marquee?
Marquee, yes.
Oh, she was a bottle girl at Marquee?
Yes.
See, Konnan told me that. I should have known that.
Yeah.
I had no clue about that until literally I think like a couple weeks ago Konnan told me this, and even knowing you and her, I thought I should have known that. But it's crazy. I didn't know. That's kind of weird.
Her and I were in Vegas together, not even knowing each other for a long time, working across the street. Because at the time I was the head doorman, and then I became security manager over at Chateau
Paris.
That's where I was throwing everybody down the fucking stairs. So
when that wasn't a big deal.
Right? No, it wasn't a big deal back then. We had the elevator in the back with no camera.
Oof.
Right. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Jeez.
That is fucking now.
Do you miss Vegas?
I do, man. But you know what? When I come back to visit, and it's not a slight to Vegas, but I've seen different renditions of Vegas. So remember Vegas before the recession?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then was a different Vegas after that, and then it was a whole different Vegas after lockdowns. And I see Vegas coming back, but like there's a certain something that I miss about it.
Let me tell you exactly what it is.
Tell me.
Traffic.
Okay.
Dude, let me tell you something. Okay, so you've heard these stories about Vegas is, the casinos, the tourism is down and stuff. Bro, out in the suburbs, South Point, Red Rock, those casinos are doing record numbers right now. They're packed. Ever since F1 came around 3 years ago, and they started construction down and on the strip and around that area, around everywhere. But dude, it's like I used to tell people, like when they say, what's the best thing about Vegas? I said the quality of life and the fact that there's no traffic. If you're in traffic for 5 minutes, you're in a lot of traffic. Bro, you're not in traffic for 5 minutes anymore. There is
Interesting.
so much construction. There's traffic cones everywhere, and people just don't even want to go down to the strip anymore. I go down to work and like I get there right before it gets bad, but it's like, dude, it's like F1 messed this whole town up with
Now, do you
like the
think
infrastructure.
Disco, if they keep losing customers to the suburbs and all that, and people not coming in, that they might get rid of the F1 or
Well,
it
it's only
makes
got
too
like
much money?
it's an infinite deal. It's not an infinite. It's a finite. I think it's got one or two more years.
Right.
So, but trust me, it does great. We make in the club that week. Money's fantastic. It's like literally like this top 2 of the year, like for tips and stuff, everything. However, it's such a pain in the ass that the locals just despise it. Because like for 3 weeks, it's like traffic everywhere. It's just crazy, So
That makes sense.
yeah.
But let me ask you a question, Kross. So now that you're in the Indies, have you started any rivalries that you want to talk about, or starting a rivalry with somebody where you're already excited enough? You're thinking, okay, this is what I'm going to do in the second match and the third match, and
I'm feuding with 2 guys right now, Holiday and Cardona.
Okay, Holiday where? Everywhere?
It's going to be everywhere. Yeah. We started off in Jersey with Wrestle Pro, and there's 2 producers there from AEW that work there. So they have that television mind. So when they're recording it and putting it online, it looks great for people who get to watch it.
Who are the producers from AEW?
Yeah. Kevin Matthews and Pat Buck are basically.
Right. Yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Super Archie.
I've never worked with Pat. I've worked on shows with Kevin Matthews before.
Yeah, both of them are wonderful, and they give excellent feedback as to like where everything is. So the talent that are there, who never maybe worked TV, have an understanding of which direction to work to, and the crowd's hot. And then I'm really interested in working more with Defy, which is in Seattle. I really like that crowd, that venue.
That's Matt Farmer over there.
Yes.
Oh, that's Farmer's group?
Yeah, he's cool.
Oh, great. Good friend of the good
friend of the
guy.
show. No.
Very
Rich
professional.
Bikini on commentary there too.
Yeah, one of the best promoters I've worked for. Yeah, yep. I like Farmer a lot.
And with Cardona, I have a feeling we're probably going to be running probably all over the world. I don't want to spoil it, but I'm in conversations with a series of international shows. I'm going to wait for them to announce it, but for 2026, I have a feeling a lot of people want Matt and I to fight all over the world, and there's a lot of matches we could get into. Like, I definitely want to do any sort of match that I haven't had the opportunity to do in a PLE to work towards, whether it's cage or Hell in a Cell, TLC, anything. Anything's on the table, casket match. We can work towards that. And with companies like GCW that they post-produce their stuff with a television mind, they build stories. Same thing with MLW. We're about to go into that direction. But right now it's Cardona and Holiday. And I want to get stuff out of them that people haven't seen before or want to see again. That's my mentality going into this. And also as well, man, I'm interested in working 20+ minute matches. Every match that I've done so far has been over 20 minutes. And I want that. I want to be able to get in there and feel the crowd. I don't want to call too much. I want to listen to them and see what they give me and play with that. I haven't been able to do that in a long time. So getting back to that has been wonderful. It's been awesome.
Coming up, you're good. Go ahead. You're going to be working with Riddle at MLW.
MLW, they just announced that. That's right.
Yeah, and you guys trained together in the past, or?
Yeah, we trained.
Weren't you in NXT with him?
I wasn't in NXT. I've known Matt for about 5 or 6 years, and we're about to have our first match ever in MLW, which will be interesting. You know, he's a very, very legit martial artist. Like, sure. I always tell people, like, for people who haven't been in a lot of fights in their life, they kind of romanticize the Clint Eastwood personality as the tough guy,
right.
Like always stoic and quiet. So when they hear Matt, he's joking around and he's kind of like, goofy and stuff. They forget, like, no, Matt can, like, if he wants to, he could break all the fucking bones in your body. He's just not putting on an act.
Right.
He'll laugh.
Let me ask you this about him.
I love working with him. He was working with us in Mexico.
Well, let me ask you this then. I want to see if you want to mend your answer to this, because I've heard somebody, I think Van Fleet asked you, if you're out but you have to go, you're in a bar, people cause you trouble, who do you want by your side? You said Chad Gable.
When I was in the WWE locker room, and I'd still want Chad Gable. But if we're talking the whole global setting, really? Yeah, for sure. And I'll tell you why. And it's for one of the same reasons I would say Chad as well, because of his skill set. Both of them are fathers. So they know that if they're getting in a fight outside the house, the kids are waiting for them to get home. They'll level everybody in the fucking bar to make sure that they get home to their kids.
Right.
Those are the most dangerous people. You start fucking around with fathers, forget it. Everyone's going down.
Right.
But you also train with him in the BJJ setting as well, right? That's what I was.
Yeah, he's been there for I think my last 3 belt promotions. So like
Nice.
the way it works at our jiu-jitsu academy, everybody's got to sign off on the decision to promote somebody. So they promoted me up to brown belt right now, and I think I'm still 3rd degree. And there's promotions I think in November. So I don't know if they're going to promote me black. I don't know.
Is this jiu-jitsu too? Because I saw MVP like in a Masters tournament, and he maybe had a black belt.
Yeah.
What belt does he have?
Yeah, he has a black belt. He's very, very legit. Very legit.
Right.
Well, obviously, if you got a black belt, let me ask you this: you post every now and then the jiu-jitsu stuff. How long have you been doing it, and have you consistently been doing it, or have you had periods where you got away from it and then just got back to it? Has jiu-jitsu been a consistent part of your training?
No.
Like how many? No.
Nope. So when my father started me on catch wrestling. So for people who don't know that, imagine amateur wrestling with submission holds. That's catch wrestling. I was doing that without a uniform, and then I transitioned into what's called no-gi jiu-jitsu. So that's jiu-jitsu without a uniform. They wear like rash guards and shorts. It's very similar. There's different mechanics of it, but I did no-gi for a very long time. And I was just in communities of grapplers and martial artists that would make fun of the guys wearing the uniform, because they'd be like, when you're out on the street, like, you might not have the luxury of a guy wearing a uniform. Why are you learning a skill set to fucking choke a guy if he's not going to have a jacket on?
No.
But then
Choke him with his gi.
Right. He doesn't have a gi. Forget it.
Right.
You know what I mean? But then in 2020, when I moved to Orlando, the only school I knew of that I could look up was Gracie Baja. And in there, they had 4 days a week in the uniform and 1 day without the uniform. So I said, I'll do the 4 days. I'll put the uniform on. And then I find out you can strangle the guy with his jacket and it's legal. I was already fucking sold. I said, you're not going to disqualify me? I could choke the guy with his jacket?
Now, where was this? Where was this school?
In Orlando when I moved here from NXT. Okay. So I've been training in the uniform for about 5 years now, but I've been doing jiu-jitsu probably since I was like 6 or 7 years old.
Wow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But there have been periods where I fell off. When I was in Vegas, if I'm sore and I'm beat up from taking bumps and working out, I can't burn the candle at both ends. I got to stay home and sleep. Lifting weights, pro wrestling, flying 4 or 5 times a week, family time. And then at the time I had a shoe job, I wasn't going to be able to consistently do all that at the same time. There's no way.
When you were on our show a while back, what you were talking about when you were younger, you used to do underground, the bare knuckle fighting, right?
Knuckle, yeah.
Right. So let me ask you this. Because you started training very young, obviously, sounds like,
Yep.
How many, did you fight mainly organized? I'm considering underground bare knuckle fighting organized. Like it's an event, okay. Or did you get in a lot of street fights?
Both.
Or both?
Both. I got in more street fights than I did with the organized fights. Like we would go to tournaments so we could knock out a bunch, because that was like the only way you were going to make any sort of money. And the only money you'd make is maybe $130. It was fucking, you know what I mean? But when you're younger,
right?
Yeah, when you're younger, you want to see if you can actually do this stuff. Like hitting a heavy bag and sparring is nothing compared to somebody who really knows how to throw back. And we were more doing it just to see, what would happen. It was for the experience of it. But for me, I grew out of it, and I had to identify that I had.
Give me the age period.
Maybe 17 to 21.
So that was those 4 years you were fighting a lot.
Motherfucker at that age.
Right.
Dude,
Right.
Exactly. Because you don't have any assets. You don't care what happens. You're not.
And it's all emotions. You don't even think about shit. You just react.
No, I was thinking when I was younger, I was thinking about, weird shit like my parents splitting up. And that was the motivation to go and do all that. As you grow up and you work through that, you don't wake up with that same hatred misplaced in your heart to project at other people. You work through that, and then that thing is gone. So you got to make a decision. Am I going to keep throwing at people and it's not there? That's how you're going to wind up in the hospital with no teeth. So, you step away and you figure out something else to do with your life.
You know what they call it in Mexico? Dragging around a dead man.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good way to put it.
What's the worst damage you've gotten in a street, had taken in a street fight?
Or handed out?
So I got hit in the top of my head with, dude, the guy had a road sign This is going to sound crazy. It was a long pole, and I was over somebody and I was hitting them. And the guy came over and he had a road sign and he swung it down like a fucking axe. It wasn't the flat side of the sign, it was the edge. And I got hit in the top of the head. And I just saw a white flash. And I looked up and I had known that he hit me because that's the only thing he's holding me. He's holding it like that. And all my friends were screaming. They thought I was dead. That was a miracle. I chilled out in my early 20s after that happened because it should have been way worse. Wound up getting some stitches, at the top of my head, but it was after last call and we were leaving the bar and some of the guys we had thrown out were waiting for us. That's the way it used to be back in the day. And so they knew the bouncers, either they were in the parking lot or they're walking to the bus stop. So they were waiting at the bus stop and we threw down and that happened. That was in Toronto.
Wow.
Canadian.
The worst thing I ever did, I don't even think I should say on a podcast.
Right.
But not it was, one of those situations where like hopefully that guy gets up and he goes home.
Right. And I don't have to end up in jail.
Yep.
Yeah.
Get in the game with the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Bet on the NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB, soccer, golf, MMA, and more. Every sport, every market, right at your fingertips. Deposit instantly with PayPal, Venmo, or Apple Pay, starting at just $10. Win big and cash out fast. PayPal in 24 hours or instantly at retail sportsbooks. Available in over 20 states, FanDuel's app is your ticket to the action. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app now.
So, since you've been on the road, we'll each give you a series or a movie because since you've probably been on the road, you haven't seen a lot of stuff, right? By the way, I saw Denzel Washington and Spike Lee. Just those two names hooked me. And this guy called Jeffrey some shit. He played Peoples in Shaft, which is one of the best characters I've ever seen.
Jeffrey Wright.
Jeffrey Wright, yeah, that's him, yeah. And Rosie Perez was in. Anyways, bro, it absolutely sucked. And I'm a Denzel fan.
Me too,
like I'll put up with a bad movie from him if it isn't too bad.
Yeah.
Highest lowest.
This was Limburger cheese, PU. Anyways, the one I'm gonna recommend is Task on HBO.
I'm
It's only
writing it
7
down.
episodes.
Task.
You'll like that. You'll definitely like that.
Okay.
What do you got?
I'll recommend Lioness. Lioness is by the guy that wrote Yellowstone and Sicario, and he's got a lot of projects out there. Tulsa.
What's that about?
It's like a secret. They find a female soldier who's like really, really accredited and can do all the physical stuff, and they put her in like as a spy. Basically, they plan her places to get information. Or
What is it, a movie or a series?
Somebody. It's a series.
Okay.
Yeah, excellent, dude. It'll hook you the first episode.
I'm writing it down. Yeah.
What do you got?
Give me one. What do you got?
I haven't seen any movies. I haven't seen movies in forever.
Series, anything?
I haven't seen nothing, dude.
You're
I've been watching sport.
psychopath.
I've been, and it's crazy too. Because let me tell you my problem. Okay, this is how brutal my attention deficit disorder is when it comes to streaming. I've watched the first five seasons up to episode 2 of Breaking Bad, and I quit.
That's the best
For some, and okay, now think about that. Okay, I quit at episodes just because an extended period of time went by.
Yeah.
I didn't want, I didn't go back. Here's the problem I've had with movies. Okay, I'm 57 years old, right? I work, but I like my time off too. But I could go see movies. However, 15, however long ago it was, maybe 10, 15 years ago, is that when movies, like especially the movies I like the Marvel, DC stuff, everything, when they started becoming hit and miss, okay, and you couldn't, and the problem with me is, dude, if it's 3 hours and 15 minutes long, I got to be 100% sure that I'm going to go and enjoy myself during that time, because I run out of the interest of investing the amount of time I have to go put into the product. Same thing with these streaming shows.
Yeah,
everybody says, "Oh, this is great," and I'm like, I just have this mental block. I just don't want to I don't want to start because I know I have to invest so much time, and I just don't ever end up watching this stuff, which is weird because I used to watch everything.
What's even weirder is you watched an 18-inning baseball game the other day.
Exactly. I slept till 2:30 in the morning watching a freaking baseball game. I didn't have any money on it. I don't like either of the teams. And it was but I'll watch that, because it's in the moment. So I don't know. I just.
So I'm going to give you one since Disco doesn't have anything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think this is considered horror, but I wouldn't consider it horror. I would consider it more like
Thriller, drama.
maybe thriller, something like that. It's a new movie, Weapons.
Okay.
Oh, I'm so, dude,
Oh,
I
you
was
talked
gonna
about that in the
recommend that.
documentary. You
I just
talked about
finished.
that in the
Just
Oh, you
finished it
saw it?
today. I just finished it today.
He was literally talking about it on the documentary.
I loved Weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Right, you put it
I like
over.
the way that they told the story, like character by character by character, and they had a nice hook at the end of each character's
No,
story.
my favorite part, this is my favorite part. Bro, you're 85% through the movie and you don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yep.
So they've hooked you and you're thinking this ending better be good.
Right.
Because I don't know, I have no idea who's who, what's what, or what the fuck is even going on.
Yeah.
And that was a great hook in itself.
Yeah.
And then at the end, they like give you everything. You're like, holy shit. And you're stuck. You know, you're like, you know. Yeah.
I've been speaking to producers independently and producers that have worked for major studios at some of the film festivals that I've been going to. And they have told me independently, it's still kind of like the Wild West when you take a script. And if you're the one who's essentially budgeting the script, you know, there's not a studio that can tamper or change anything about your movie because they're not like financing it. But with major studios, apparently there's a trend going on right now where they're encouraging people to write films in a particular format because they are expecting people to be watching it and on their phones at the same time, not paying attention.
Right.
And I think, man, I'm just saying, I personally think that that's a mistake to write and finance a film expecting people to be on their phones at home. I think maybe that's why there's a decline in interest in a lot of films. But funny enough, Weapons is very much borderline sort of on like, it's not one of the big studios, it's a smaller studio. Those movies, they have original scripts, right? It doesn't feel like a conveyor belt movie you've seen.
Right. 100%. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question.
That's why I have a deep fascination with foreign films because they don't really have big budgets, except like now China might and India, but they don't really have big budgets, especially smaller countries,
Yep.
you know, like Cuba, you know, shit like that.
Yep.
And the acting has to be on point. The story has to be on point because they got no money for CGI. They got no budget for anything fucking cool. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
They got to have a good story and they got to cast the movie well.
Right.
Let me ask you this.
Kross, they call it popcorn brain for people that's like write the movie for people with popcorn brain. It's exactly what you said, where they're watching it, but they're looking and maybe they look up and they're not, you have to help them catch up.
Dude,
By writing it, yeah.
I pray to God wrestling. I pray to God wrestling doesn't go in that direction.
Let me ask you this. It already has. It already has. But we talk about like on the show that you know like the way that WWE has used all the psychological psyops and factors like social media and everything to grasp the audience.
Yeah.
Because but the detriment though that most of the audience now is watching it in the short form content on social media.
Yeah.
Like you know, you're just catching the 3-minute clip here of this,
Because, bro, at the end of the day, it's fucking boring to be sitting through fucking commercials and 8-minute intros and all this other bullshit. And when you can, then right now, you know, it's highlight culture.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're
You know?
excellent at doing it. They're excellent at doing that. They invent, and now they're so good at they're on ESPN for Christ's sakes, like on Sports Center, you know? So
like if you don't have the time, Kevin, I'm sure you've done this. You don't have the time and you're like, oh, I heard Cena AJ was great. I'll just watch the condensed version.
Of course.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how I keep up pretty much.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. So you wrote a book, you produced a short film. First we'll start with the book. How did you start it? How much time, like on a day or a week, give me walk me through how much time you invested, what you would do to write the book.
So it was weird, man. At Rob Van Dam's wedding in Vegas, I was sitting at the table with a bunch of people, and that very day, I had like a dozen people come up to me because they were all asking how Scarlett and I are doing. And when we told them how we were doing and we were showing them different things we were up to in the bookings and stuff, they were like, we haven't really seen people recover from a situation like you guys have. And I've had longtime friends there that have known me for a long time. They know my life outside wrestling, and they all kept saying to me, you should write a book. And everybody believes in whatever they believe in, right? Whether you believe in God or the universe or karma, whatever it is. I felt like the universe was sending me a message like, these people don't even know each other, but they know me. And I'm having so many people all telling me in this day, and then over the span of 2 weeks, I should write a book. I said, if I ignore this, I'm not paying attention to something going on here. So I began to just basically write down stuff. I would do voice notes and I would put this stuff together. And initially, in the beginning, I had a ghostwriter. And when the ghostwriter gave me everything back, I'm reading it and it's like, this doesn't feel like me. These aren't my words. And I'm writing a book about authenticity. I can't put this out because people might not know, but I know. And this feels like wrong for me to do. So I gutted out the entire thing and I wrote it. It was a really good learning experience for me. And just over like 4 or 5 months, I just wrote everything out. And I made contact with ECW Publishing, and we were going to get the book published the month that Hunter called us back to go. I would just write stuff down.
Let me go backwards here just real quick. Like when you talked about like either you're writing or you're doing voice notes and stuff, would you like say like, okay, I got to write. I feel like writing today. Sit down and write. Or other times the creativity comes to you in your head. You're driving, and you pull out the voice note, and you're doing how much of it was like a mixture of that?
That's exactly what happened. So I would write down stuff very heavy, and
like
then
writing like Mick Foley did in a notebook or type.
I would type it.
Okay, right.
Yeah, I would type it all out, and then sometimes, someone would call me.
Mick Foley actually wrote his thing on like literally wrote it cursor.
Of course he did. Of course he did.
Scroll like a Kerouac.
Jeez.
But then, I would be talking to friends and family and be like, remember that time you did this? Remember that time you did that? Like, I totally forgot about that. That's not at the forefront of my memory. They're like, you should put that in the book. So, I would, if I was driving somewhere, like you said, or I was at the gym on the treadmill, that was another time. Whenever I'd be on the treadmill and I'd be caffeinated, all this stuff would come back to me. And, or late at night after midnight when I have nothing else to do, there's no errands to run, nobody to talk to, my head was free. I'd be like, this is the perfect time. Voice note, and then eventually put it to paper. That's kind of how that happened. And it was scary, man, because like it's easy to play a character on TV. People can judge the character and think, high or low of you, it doesn't matter. It's not really you. But when you actually put yourself into the book, that process for me, there were times where I was like, there's no way I'm getting this published. This is way too interpersonal. But then I was like, no, you know what? I am going to do it because there's going to be people out there like me that are going to read this and they're going to get something good out of it. And I felt good about it. I felt like there was a positive intention in the book going out, and, it wasn't all my triumphs. It was a lot of hard shit that I had to get through. And I kind of wish like I had a book like that when I was like of the age when I really needed a book to read like that.
You know what I see in the gym a lot that maybe you see, and I to me, these people are just like, they're colossally wasting their time. People that don't have earphones on.
Oh yeah.
Cause there's people don't realize the value of how much work you can do while you are exercising.
Yes.
Like while you're on, like and it's unbelievable. I see people that are they're just exercising. And I'm like, dude, you could have like listened to a pod, learn something like during that time. And like it's amazing like how much work you can do combined with exercise. Like it's actually a product of very efficient and successful people that do that, man.
Absolutely. I completely agree. I would listen to audiobooks every once in a while when I was training, and that helped me just retain information and think differently, right? Expand your process of thought.
Right.
Joe,
let me ask you this about the movie.
Let me do real quick.
So you did the short film, right?
Yep.
Well, that's
how easy was it?
That's a full length feature, right? Kross, isn't it? It's 90 minutes, right?
Well, so
No,
it's 90 minutes.
40 minutes.
40 minutes. It's not like a right. Like it's not like a. If I'm going to the movie theater, I got 2 hours. It's a 40-minute. Yeah, short film, which is not 5 minute. But it is what it is.
Blue Evening.
Did you find that?
Blue Evening.
Okay.
Did you find that difficult or a lot easier than you would have thought it would have been?
It was a lot easier, but it's if you care about it and it's yours. Now there's a very meticulous process in post producing that. You want to make sure the color treatments are correct. What does that mean for someone who doesn't know? If you shot something at noon that's outside, and for reasons that are too long to get into for the podcast, and you got to shoot the rest of the scene at 6 p.m., well, the sun's in a different place. Now it has to be relit. You got to take that into consideration. On post, it can't be light in one area, and then 2 seconds later, in reality, it was 4 hours later. Now it's dark. So learning that, scoring it, all of it, the whole post-production process of it, and kind of hovering over that and learning, I loved it. I never felt lost at any point. And the ability to get on set and kind of just create this with these people. I got the same rush out of it like I did with wrestling, to be honest with you. It felt good.
Well, let me ask you this: to combine the rushes, okay, or contrast. What did you get more out of or fulfilling out of? Performing live wrestling in front of people or producing?
Performing live.
Performing live still, right? Yeah, you can't. Yeah, there is that rush, but there is a fulfillment in producing a book, like
Well, no, the
Yeah.
fulfillment it's an incredible fulfillment. There's nothing like people chanting your name or booing you live. I mean, there just
Right.
isn't. But there is an adrenaline rush when you write something, explain it to somebody, and it comes to fruition, and you see it develop in front of you. And like, wow, this is what I wanted. You know what I'm
Big
saying?
time. And when it's in the theaters and it's in like a certain block and people are watching it, I'll take the worst seat in the theater and I'll just usually sit back and I'll watch how people react to the film. And we're getting standing ovations and applause at the end of the film. Sometimes we're in a 4 or 5 movie block and all the films are really good, but a lot of the times we're the only ones getting that. And that's a really good feeling, man. And I know the rest of the crew feels that way too. Everybody who's there who can attend the festivals, their work is being appreciated. That was something that I didn't think of that would be like part of all of this when we were going to put the film out. That never occurred.
For the uninitiated, uninformed like myself, this is being shown in festivals where?
It's been all over the place. I try to update people.
So when you say all over the place, U.S. and world, or just U.S. right now, world later, or what?
Right now, I believe we just won a diversity award in the UK. So it's done the United States and the United Kingdom. Those are the 2 countries. But I believe I got to speak to the person who's in charge of
diversity award. Why? What was in your thing that's diversity?
Most of the cast that we had in the film was Hispanic.
Really?
Yeah.
Disco would say they're DEI hires.
Affirmative action filmmaking.
Oh my god! What? So what are you? Have you started producing any other movies yet? Like, you got that one in the can? It's like, do you have a brainchild of another one working?
I have 2 horror scripts that I'm working on right now, and it's hard to get through them because I have to write at night when I have nothing to do, and I'm almost never home because of the stuff I'm doing. And
busier now than when you worked WWE.
I am, man. I have a lot of stuff going on during the week, so people know about my weekend because I put that up publicly where you can come visit. But during the week, I'm meeting with investors. I'm meeting with people who are possibly interested in streaming things that I'm doing that are outside of wrestling. There's people that are interested about turning like our lives into a show. We have a lot of strange and interesting things going on in our lives. Like Lisa has her paranormal show. I just real named her, by the way. Scarlett has her paranormal show.
Right.
And so she has a paranormal show. There's people interested in buying that and putting it on a streaming service. And a lot of people are very interested in what it is, like what wrestling looks like outside of the corporate infrastructure. That's all polished and nice and controlled. What does the punk rock version of indie wrestling and the dive bars look like? I am really interested in showing the world what it looks like. It's not this gross, ugly thing because it's missing a production budget. I can show people that this is worth coming out of your house to see. There's a lot of starving talent, and it's raw, man. Like, it's everybody who goes out there. You guys remember, like, when you're not doing TV and you don't have such a structure you have to play to, every person goes out there with the intention to get over. One guy goes over, 2 people get over. That was always the rule of law. That makes a good
and one
show.
guy gets the rub.
One guy gets the rub. But we had that formula. Did you ever hear that story?
Listen to this. This is great.
So we would do, when we were doing the overseas tours, when
WWA
tour.
Yeah, if anybody saw Cocaine Cat quarterback, that Andrew McManus. Go ahead.
All right. So we would do these tours overseas, and Sting would be in the main event, and I was in Sports Entertainment Extreme at the time, and he would wrestle me, right? And Chris Sabin at the time was doing a spot where he was trying to join Sports Entertainment Extreme back in like NWA and TNA, what they call it at the time, right? And Konnan would do commentary. Okay, so the commentary would go out to the live audience at the show too, so everybody in the crowd could hear it, right? Can hear it. So we would do a spot for the finish in the Sting match, where Sting would put me in the Scorpion Deathlock. Okay, Konnan, being my old friend from
Nemesis.
the NWO, would you my old friend from we'd be in the NWO.
We were in the NWO at the time.
You would come out and like slide into the ring off the commentary. Well, the first thing would happen is, you would hit Sting with a chair. Okay. Oh my God. Now we get a false finish. 1, 2, oh, and Konnan, he hit Konnan slide out of the ring. Saban then, we get the referee down. Saban would do like some springboard spot out of nowhere to interfere, and Sting would nail him and throw him out, right? And then Sting would end up beating me. Okay, so we always say, okay, Sting got over. Okay, Sting went over. I got over. We made a guy in Konnan for the deck because he's like turning Sting, and we gave a guy a rub for Saban for getting there. One guy goes over, one guy gets over. You make a guy, you give a guy a rub.
That's great.
And that was our motto for like forever, So
Bro, this just came up to me right now. I think you're fucking talented enough and outside of the box enough, and that you could make, for example, let's say you're making this movie about horror, right? And there's a huge horror fan base because you probably see them when you go to conventions.
Yes.
So you kind of make it for you kind of promote it to the wrestling and horror fans, where you could probably get all your money back that you invested, and then to other genres with 60 degrees of separation. Maybe the MMA crowd, maybe but I think that that's something that you could probably excel at and make money at, and find your own niche, where you're your own boss and it's your own ideas, or even have people send in ideas to you. Because I wanted to ask you this, now that you were talking about horror, what do you think of what I just said before you ask you the next question? Is that something?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm open to all of that. Like the amount of unplanned networking that happens just from being out during the week with all of this going on is, I never planned on meeting any of these people. I couldn't even set up these meetings to meet these people. We just happen to be in the same place, and the stuff you're talking about is going on in my mind all the time.
Yeah. So I think you'd excel at that. And the other thing I wanted to ask you is, in all these paranormal things that you've done, what would be the closest thing that happened that either you saw, heard, or felt where you're like, okay, something's going on, and maybe even got scared?
So I was at the famous Lizzie Borden house, which is in Fall River, Massachusetts.
Right.
And, my wife insisted on sleeping there. I was like, she already did the investigation and she got contact. She had all the equipment out. There was things talking to her through electromagnetic frequency. She has all the equipment, and she recorded it and produced an episode out of it. We had guests. She insisted to sleep there. And it's the night before SmackDown. This was about over a year and a half ago. And so I go to sleep there, and I wake up, and, all of a sudden, like, I feel something tap me on my knee, and I open my eyes. Absolutely nothing's there. And I'm positive something tapped me on my knee. It was aggressive, man. And so I'm moving around, and I tell my wife, I go, hey, are you awake? She goes, yeah. I go, how long have you been awake? She goes, 20 minutes. And I go, why are you awake? She goes, well, you first. I said, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to like egg on what's going on in the house.
Right.
Yeah.
And she goes, no, you have to tell me. And we both said, like, we felt like somebody was in the room. And she said that something was like pulling the sheets down. And I thought that was her, but it wasn't her. And I was like, I'm getting up. I said, I'll drive to Boston and I'll get a hotel, sleep another hour and go to work. She goes, no, don't leave.
Yeah.
So she gets up. I'm sweating through the sheets. We change the sheets. She lays back down and she says out loud, she goes, whoever you are, whatever you are, we're leaving. We're not staying. So just let us sleep. We said a prayer, and she closes the door, and I'm laying there and I just got my eyes closed, and I'm just like, it feels like I'm trying to sleep in a room with a gardener snake. It's not poisonous, but you don't want to sleep in a room with a snake going all over.
Yeah, no matter what.
So I'm laying there, and then all of a sudden the doorknob opens and the door swings open. And I look at her and I go, can you fucking believe this? I go, of course, when the cameras are off, this is what's happening. And I look at the clock. It's after the witching hour, after 3 a.m., where you get crazy activity like this. She gets up and closes the door.
So am I to understand that it left the room?
Yes, that's what she said. That's
wow, that's wild.
She said, Kevin, it probably just left the room. She said, trust me, just try to get back to sleep. And we went back to sleep, and it was not a good sleep, but I was like, I'm never fucking staying there again. There's no way.
Wow. Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's wild.
That's awesome.
But there is something people could find online about you guys going to the Salem, where is it? Fall River, you said?
Fall River, yeah. The Lizzie Borden house is the name of the episode. Yeah.
Wow, that's fucking crazy.
I'll shoot
It
it
is.
on the socials and everything. Yeah.
All right, Kevin. Man, I want to thank you for your time.
Oh, can
You know,
I?
we love you over here. Go ahead.
One,
But let me ask you a question, Joe. I was going to ask you this before. So you read his book, correct, or not yet?
Yes.
Is there anything you want to ask him from the book?
No. I just to put it over to the people. I mean, it was a really great dive into his personality and everything, and he's a great storyteller. Some of the stuff that I enjoyed specifically.
Joe, hold your mic up.
Some of the stuff that I enjoyed.
This is an homage to Dave Meltzer.
Yeah. But the volume will fix in post. But something that I enjoyed specifically was like early in the book, some of the like the bar encounters with the really annoying guy. I liked how he kind of settled that situation. And then there's some stuff about the relationship with Scarlett and all that and how that began and everything. And it's a nice little love story stuffed in there as well. And all the wrestling stuff. I mean, there's something for everybody. And it's just coming through in your voice. It's just excellent. Yeah, in my opinion. But
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Did you catch the bit about Vampiro and Konnan in there? Do you
I didn't get
remember
that-
it?
No.
Konnan, you'll appreciate this. I was
Yes.
saying something in the book. I said, when I was down there in AAA, I said, I had all the love in the world for you and Vamp, but it was almost like I would go to work with mom and dad. They were always fighting. And dare I never say which one was mom or which one was dad.
Right. No, I'll tell you, I think one of the happiest things I was able to do that I actually felt good about was, if you remember, before I got there, one of the things that Vamp used to do is he used to punk all the main event guys, including you, Psycho, Santos Escobar. Remember?
Yeah, of course.
And I remember there was this one time where you guys were in a cage, and I think you were in El Paso, and he got face to face with either you or Psycho Clown, right?
Yeah.
And then he looked like he was going to leave the cage, and I go, okay, good. You put them over. No, he closed the cage, doubled down, and came back and got in your face. You can't do nothing. He's the booker, right?
Right.
So we did, I think it was the first or second day that I was there, if you remember, we did this spot where you ended up kicking his ass, remember?
Yes, I do.
To get all the heat that he had taken from you.
Yes.
But yeah, it was just very, you were there. It was a very difficult situation, especially since they never told the motherfucker I was going to be working with him till like the day of.
Yeah. It was, there was some
There was
pieces
tension.
to iron out.
Yeah.
But it always made me happy when I did see you guys kind of like learning to coexist, because I didn't know, no one knows your whole history with him unless you guys are talking about it. And there was a lot of history which you covered. And it was like, for me personally, it was cool because I grew up watching the both of you and just the days where you guys weren't getting along. I remember there was one time, and you'll remember this. So I didn't know that Vamp was having cognitive issues. And I know you guys have broke his balls about that.
Right.
I know.
Right.
But hear me out.
Yeah.
I didn't know that he was having cognitive issues. And there was one day where you weren't there, and he was talking about pulling me out of a match because he was worried about the match. He was worried about me being able to climb out of the cage with the hole over the top. He's like, Kevin, you're over 270 pounds. Like, if for any reason.
Match.
Yeah. And so I had told you about that, not realizing how you were going to react. And you were fucking furious because you're in charge of the card. You're responsible for what is being promoted. And so when I mentioned that to you, you got pissed and you brought it up to him. And this motherfucker, I really don't think remembered
Because he
telling
denied it.
me. He denied it. And so
Yeah.
I'm sitting there and I'm like,
I'm looking
he
like a
denied-
liar.
Yeah, I
Right.
was like, why is he denying it? And then a couple weeks later, he was like, man, he's like, if I've said anything to you that's been strange, or I've done anything that's been strange, it's because I'm having cognitive issues. And he went into the whole thing. And I was like, fuck, there were times when he was so good to me. So I let it go. But I was like, I was so fucking mad that day. Now I can laugh.
Yeah.
I was
Well, I'll
like,
tell you this: either either you're too nice of a guy, or I'm too much of a dick. But that was definitely a work. But where can people
So
find
this,
you?
hang on. This was the
Yeah.
question, because it's kind of an inside baseball nerd question. But when you're writing, when you're working on scripts and stuff, Kevin, do you use a Final Draft, or is there another program you use, or anything you could recommend to the people that listen that do write?
you know what I would tell people? I would say, get the most basic word program on your laptop. And
Yep.
a lot of times, because I was on the move, honest to God, I just use Notepad. I know
There you
that
go.
sounds crazy.
No, I
Right.
understand.
Yeah, that's what worked for me. I like as simple as possible. The more complicated the programs get, the more I don't know how to work them, or it
Right.
takes me a long time to get into them.
Yep. You'll have your tab on the left, and it's like character history, and it's good for people that are like that want to keep track of things, but it can be overwhelming too. Yeah.
I get overwhelmed if the software becomes too complicated.
Gotcha. All right, so I got it, Konnan.
Yeah. So where can people probably see your movie, or do they go to your website and there's instructions there, or wherever you're wrestling next, wherever you and Scarlett are going to be appearing next, whatever you got out there, this is a good platform.
Yeah, man. I appreciate everybody. Appreciate the support. Appreciate you guys having me on the show.
Always.
I have a landing page for Blue Evening, which is a short film. It's literally blueevening.com. It's the simplest thing you could possibly imagine. You go to blueevening.com and all of the listings for the film are going to be on there. So if it's coming to your city or it's coming to your country, you'll be able to catch it there. And then on my socials, it's simple across the boards, Real Killer Kross. If something doesn't have that handle, it's not actually me. So Instagram, Twitter, I'll post anywhere I am, anywhere I'll be. And the next really, really big event is going to be GCW in New Jersey. And then House of Glory is coming up in November. Everything's on my social media. I'm somewhere new in a different city every single weekend. I got it all posted there.
Cool.
That's great, man.
Hey,
Nothing but the best for you.
You coming back to Vegas anytime soon?
Yes, we're going to be in Vegas. That show's coming up, I think, is it November 22nd or 23rd is Future Stars of Wrestling.
What day of the week is that?
It's going to be a Sunday.
Oh, perfect. Hey, if you want to go, dude, we should go hit they got this restaurant called Chubby Cattle. It's all Wagyu Korean barbecue.
I'm in.
It's awesome. So,
Bro, what was the place that you took me to one time that it was Wagyu hamburgers with those fucking weird milkshake ice cream concoctions?
The Lux Cafe, right? Grand Lux? Did you guys go there?
I don't know. He took me.
I think so. That rings a bell. What city were we in?
It's Vegas.
That's right.
Your city. You took me out.
Right. Honestly, I got to ask Scarlett. She'll be able to remember, but there's only 3 or 4 restaurants we ever go to. But I'm starting to remember where we were.
Yeah, that one was like Wagyu burgers, and it had those wild ice cream concoctions that they make now with like a fucking
that had to be Grand Lux Cafe,
and fucking wafers and
that was the one.
Right. Yeah,
I remember that.
Scooter.
Disco, there was some crazy ice cream shop I took him to that was inside the Venetian where they make like 12-foot tall ice creams.
Oh, yeah. Right. Okay. All right. Well,
But,
cool, man. It was good catching up with you.
Yeah.
And anything that you have, bro, that you want to promote, please send it to Joe and we'll repost it, me and DI.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it so much.
Send our best to Scarlett, bro.
Yeah.
I will, man. I absolutely will.
Nothing but love and respect. Thank you, friend of the show, for being on, keeping it 100. Boom.
Peace, my friend.
Thanks very much, man. Thank you for
Thank you, Kevin.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
yeah. Thanks, guys.
All right. Continued success, my friend.
Have a good night.
You too.
Right.
Yo, what's up? I just want to thank you guys for watching this clip. Don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And join our YouTube membership for hours and hours of exclusive, unedited, uncensored content. And being a member will help you get involved in our upcoming live streams. Thank you for your support. Thank you for riding with us. I know you got a lot of other podcast choices, be it wrestling or other ones. And thank you for picking us. Boom.